You are either using credit cards to build wealth, or credit cards are using you. Americans now carry $1.277 trillion in credit card debt, an all-time record as of the fourth quarter of 2025, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And here is the line that makes that number so striking. The same financial tool that is generating that historic debt is simultaneously funding free first-class flights, five-star hotel nights, and international trips for a specific group of Americans who understand exactly how the system works. The difference between those two outcomes is not income, it is not luck. It is one behavioral distinction that separates people who play the game from people the game plays. Here is the distinction. West Virginia University researchers published a study in 2025, drawing on decades of credit card data from the Federal Reserve that confirmed what behavioral economists have long suspected. Credit card users fall into two fundamentally different groups, and those groups are remarkably stable across a lifetime. The first group are transactors, people who use credit cards as a payment method and pay the full balance every single month. They use the card's infrastructure without ever paying for it. The second group are revolvers, people who carry a balance from month to month, paying interest on the debt they accumulate. The average interest rate on cards accruing balances in the fourth quarter of 2025 was 22.3%, according to Federal Reserve data. That is not a financing mechanism. At that rate, it is a wealth transfer. The critical insight from that research is that behavior in each group tends to be stable over time. The same impatient half of the population that carries balances in their 30s tends to still carry balances in their 50s. This is not a moral judgment. It is a pattern that behavioral economics predicts, rooted in present bias and what researchers call impatience in decision-making, the same documented tendency to overweight immediate satisfaction that shapes dozens of financial behaviors. If you can identify which group you are currently in, you can make a clear-eyed decision about whether what follows applies to you right now. If you are a revolver, if you carry a balance most months, stop reading about rewards and start reading about the debt itself. NerdWallet's analysis shows that with the average revolving balance of approximately $11,400 and the current average interest rate of roughly 23%, making only minimum payments would result in $18,500 in interest charges and a payoff timeline of nearly 22 years. No sign-up bonus covers that math. The reward system is not built for you yet. Fix the balance first. Come back to this when the balance is gone. If you are a transactor, if you pay every dollar of your credit card balance in full every single month, without exception, then you are positioned to access one of the most overlooked legal wealth-building tools available to ordinary Americans. And right now, most people in your position are leaving enormous value unredeemed. According to Motley Fool's analysis of Consumer Financial Protection Bureau data, Americans earned $41 billion in credit card rewards in 2022, but redeemed only $35 billion, leaving $6 billion in points, miles, and cashback sitting unused. Meanwhile, cardholders with super prime credit scores redeemed 82% of all credit card rewards that year. The people at the top of the credit spectrum are capturing the system's benefits almost entirely, while the majority of Americans either carry balances and pay for it or hold rewards they never touch. So how does the system actually work, and how do the people using it effectively think about it? The foundation is what is called a sign-up bonus, sometimes called a welcome offer. When you open a new premium rewards credit card and meet a minimum spending threshold in the first few months, typically $2,000 to $6,000 in normal purchases, the card issuer awards you a large block of points or miles up front. The American Express Platinum Card, for example, was offering as high as 175,000 membership rewards points as a welcome offer in early 2026, according to the Points Guy's most recent data. 175,000 points. At a conservative redemption rate of 1 cent per point, that is $1,750. At a more optimized transfer redemption, and this is where the real leverage lives, that same block of points can be worth $3,000 or more. Here is why the transfer piece matters. Most people with rewards cards redeem their points directly through the card's travel portal at a fixed rate, usually 1 to 1.5 cents per point. That is fine. But the people who use this system most effectively know that transferring points to airline and hotel loyalty partners can multiply their value dramatically. Points. Guy's February 2026 valuations show that Chase Ultimate Rewards points are worth approximately 2 cents each when transferred to premium airline partners for business class redemptions, compared to 1.25 cents through the Chase Travel Portal. The same points, used differently, are worth 60% more. You do not need to be an expert to find one or two of these opportunities per year. You need to understand the principle. Never redeem for cash back if you plan to travel, because travel transfers almost always yield more value per point than cash. The behavioral psychology of why most people miss this is straightforward. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's 2024 report on credit card rewards found that high-income, high-credit score cardholders capture the overwhelming majority of rewards benefits because they are the ones who pay in full and actively engage with the system. People in lower income brackets are substantially less likely to carry travel rewards cards at all. Only 4% of those earning under $35,000 annually held airline miles cards. The rewards economy is designed around the spending and travel patterns of wealthier Americans, and it is largely funded by the interchange fees merchants pay on every transaction, and, critically, by the interest paid by revolvers. That is the uncomfortable truth underneath the glossy welcome bonus. The system extracts from one group and delivers to another. Understanding which group you want to be in is the whole game. Morgan Housel, in his body of work on the psychology of money, makes a point that applies directly here. He argues that financial tools are neutral. What they do to your net worth depends entirely on the behavior you bring to them. A credit card in the hands of someone who pays in full every month and optimizes their spending categories is a vehicle for free travel and cash value. That same card in the hands of someone making minimum payments at 22% interest is one of the most destructive financial instruments in modern consumer life. Same tool, opposite outcome, entirely determined by the behavioral layer. There are 3 specific mistakes that keep even financially responsible people from capturing the full value of this system. The first is treating all points as equal. Accumulating points in a program with limited transfer partners or low base redemption value is a slow path to modest rewards. The most valuable points currencies in 2025 and 2026 are those with broad, flexible transfer options. Programs like Chase Ultimate Rewards, American Express Membership Rewards, and Capital One Miles. Because flexibility means you can find the highest value redemption for your specific situation rather than being locked into one airline or hotel chain. The second mistake is holding points too long. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau noted explicitly in its 2024 report that travel programs have a long history of devaluing rewards over time, requiring more points for the same services. Points sitting in your account are a depreciating asset. You do not hoard cash in a jar losing value to inflation, and you should not hoard points either. Earn them with purpose. Redeem them within a reasonable window. The third mistake is opening too many cards too quickly without a clear redemption goal. The mechanics of credit scoring mean that opening several new accounts in a short period can temporarily affect your credit profile. More importantly, the behavioral research on this system shows consistently that people who optimize around one specific goal, a flight to Europe, a hotel stay in Tokyo, a domestic trip to visit family, are far more likely to actually use the rewards than people who accumulate abstractly. Here's the concrete action step that you can take this week. Identify one travel goal. One specific trip you want to take in the next 12 to 18 months, even if it feels aspirational. Then research which credit card sign-up bonus would most directly fund that trip. For most Americans starting from zero with strong credit, a card that earns transferable points with a sign-up bonus of at least 60,000 points and an annual fee under $100 is the practical starting point. Meet the minimum spend requirement through your normal monthly purchases, groceries, utilities, gas, subscriptions. Do not manufacture spending just to hit the threshold. Then, before you redeem, spend 30 minutes researching whether a transfer partner gives you more value than the card's own travel portal. That 30 minutes can be worth hundreds of dollars on a single redemption. This entire system rests on one non-negotiable behavioral foundation. You pay the full statement balance the day it is due, every single month without exception. If that is not something you can commit to right now, for any reason, including income variability, existing debt, or spending patterns you are still working on, the honest answer is that this tool is not yet available to you. Build the foundation first. The rewards will still be there. At Next Gen Finance, this kind of system-level thinking is what separates financial information from financial transformation. If you want frameworks that connect behavior to outcomes and cut through the noise of what to actually do with your money, subscribing means you get that delivered every time we publish. Research-backed, no filler, directly applicable. What does your relationship with credit cards look like right now? Are you a transactor who pays in full and wants to optimize, or are you working toward getting there? Drop your honest answer in the comments. I read every single one, and your situation helps shape what we cover in future scripts. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial or investment advice. Please do your own research and consult a licensed financial professional before making any financial decisions.